Welcome viewers. The other day we were talking about APJ Abdul Kalam's autobiographical profile, Strong Roots. And you know that an autobiography is actually a defense for one's life. Defense for one's life. But this section, which is taken from his full-fledged book, The Wings of Fire, constitute the first part of the book, and it gives a detailed description of his childhood, upbringing, parental care, his father's spiritual outlook, exchange of ideas, communal bonhomie, and some philosophical observations made by his father. This is in a nutshell the content of the autobiography. The other day I told you about the line that you transcend your body when you pray. Prayer is so important. Kalam's father emphasizes on the importance of prayer and thinks that it is a medium, it is a force, it is a kind of energy which can transcend our body, and you can become a part of the cosmos which knows no division of wealth, age, caste or creed. So he talks about the unification and the loss of any division in the cosmos. Every human being belongs to a greater world, the world which is not a phenomenon but a human, beyond the world. My father could convey complex spiritual concepts in a simple, down-to-earth terrain. Jainul Abidin had the capacity to express the complex spiritual ideas in Tamil, local language. He once told me, in his own time, in his own place, in what he really is, and in the stage he has reached, good or bad, every human being has a specific element within the whole of the manifest human being, manifest divine being. This is one of the philosophical observations of Jainul Abidin, that we are part of a great human, a great divine being. That is the part of, we are actually the part of the world. As a theist, as a divine Muslim, he believed in the existence of God and also believed that we are actually the part of that great divine being. So why be afraid of difficulties, sufferings and problems? Answer the question. The people need not be worried about their problems, their sufferings, because we know that these sufferings actually are the part of that divine human being, that divine being, or God, or the Almighty. And this is how he tried to dilute the intensity of our sorrow, the intensity of our troubles and pains. When troubles come, try to understand the relevance of your sufferings. Whenever troubles come, don't blame others for the troubles. we need introspection for self-discovery. And the next line is very philosophical and very important for questions also. Adversity always presents opportunities for introspection. It is only when men are in trouble, people are in trouble, they pray to God for their salvation, for their salvation from that critical situation. Why didn't you say this to the people who come to you for help and advice? I asked my father. Now Kalam, whose mind is full of reason and science, asked a fundamental question that his father Jainul Abdin should tell people that we are all part of great divine being, and adversity always presents opportunities for self-introspection, etc. He put his hands on my shoulders and looked straight into my eyes. Now Jainul Abdin tried to understand the gravity of the question asked by his son. For quite some time he said nothing. Most probably he was pondering about the gravity of the question. That's why he stopped, as if he was judging my capacity to comprehend his words. And he also thought that the answer he will give may not be accessible to Kalam, a very young man at the time. Then he answered in a low, deep voice. His answer filled me with a strange energy and enthusiasm. Kalam was filled with energy and enthusiasm because his father's answer energized him. Whenever human beings find themselves alone as a natural reaction, they start looking for companion. It is also a philosophical observation. And it's very common that when people are in trouble, they try to find someone to support him, to give him support to come out of this trouble. Whenever they are in trouble, they look for someone to help them. This is our natural instinct. People, when they are in trouble, seek others' help to solve their problems. Whenever they reach an impasse, that is the burden, that the situation from which they couldn't come out. They look to someone to show them the way out. So they always looking forward to someone to save them from this critical situation. Even every recurrent anguish, longing and desire finds its own special helper. We have recurrent anguish like pain, suffering, death, separation, deprivation and whatnot. In domestic life, there are many sufferings which are recurrent, and we cannot but bear with it. For the people who come to me in distress, Kalam's father is giving a long philosophical lecture to his son, judging his capacity to comprehend. I am but a go-between in their effort to propitiate demonic forces with prayers and sufferings. Kalam's father said that he does not hoax people, or he does not want to swindle people in the name of God. He just wants to serve as a mediator to, to save them from the demonic forces, from the devilish forces, from the evil forces. This is not a correct approach at all and should never be followed. He acknowledged at the same time or admitted that this should not be followed. But he should not serve as a go-between in all cases. But he had to, because people throng whenever they were in trouble to solve their problem. One must understand the difference between a fair-written vision of destiny and a vision that enables us to seek the enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. Again, it is a philosophical observation and it needs some interpretation. He distinguishes between our two visions of destiny. One is fear-ridden vision of destiny. We are always afraid of destiny. What may happen, we don't know. After 1 hour, what will happen? Our future is always in the dark. So we are always afraid of our destiny. And another destiny is the destiny of complacency, sense of complacency, which destroys our dynamic potentiality or dynamic spirit. Kalam's father was talking about these two types, and this self-complacency is an enemy or a foe. Our upliftment, our continuous progress. I remember this is how Kalam's father aims or finishes his philosophical utterance. Now, Dr. Kalam says, I remember my father starting his day at 4 a.m. by reading the namaz. Namaz, you know, is a religious ritual of the Muslim, which occurred 5 times in 24 hours before dawn. So he used to wake up from bed at 4 a.m. every day. After the namaz, he used to walk down to a small coconut grove we own about 4 miles from our home. So he managed to have a morning walk of 4 miles. And he would return with about a dozen coconuts tied together, thrown over his shoulder. Half a dozen, about a dozen coconuts, 12 coconuts, hanging on his or dangling on his shoulder, over his shoulder. And only then would he have his breakfast. So after the namaz, he used to have a morning walk. He went to the grove and returned almost he covered 8 kilometers or 8 miles. And then he had his breakfast. What a stout man with strict routine. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. Even in his late 60s, Kalam's father maintained this routine. I have throughout my life tried to emulate my father in my own world of science and technology. Yet Kalam acknowledged his gratefulness to his father's routine-bound life, hard and fast rules, and especially the discipline, which Kalam also maintained or followed in his life. He became a world-famous scientist and a great human being because of this discipline, which he inherited from his father. I have endeavored to understand the fundamental truths revealed to me by my father. Basic truths or fundamental truths was revealed. It was the parents' duty to enlighten his son. And Jainul Abdin, as an ideal father, helped in the enlightenment of Dr. Kalam's mind and feel convinced that there exists a divine power that can lift one up from confusion, misery, melancholy and failure and guide one to one's true place. So Kalam became a theist, and his father's contribution in this respect is very high. Kalam also believed that only the faith in this divine power can lift us from our confusion, sorrow, morbidity, our failures, and guide us to a place we desire to arrive or reach. And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, and we die, he wants to mean that when at once an individual severs his bond, that is disconnects his emotional and physical bond, he is on the road to freedom, happiness and peace of mind. The road of happiness, it is the eternal peace of mind. Just after this, we will go to the other world and find eternal happiness and peace. This is how his autobiographical writing ends. And I told you earlier that there are at least 8 to 10 philosophical observations made by Kalam's father, and which make the essay a little difficult for understanding. But any spiritual thought needs some cooperation of mind or spirituality from others. If you have a glimpse of or a partial view of Sri Aurobindo's life divine, you will realize that spiritual thoughts, most of the spiritual thoughts are very personal, individualistic, and it is very difficult to delve deep into the matter without the spiritual makeup. So we need to have a spiritual makeup to understand all these spiritual things, spiritual utterings of genuine life. The essay, the autobiography is important, and there are certain important questions, and we'll see it later. There are certain important vocabularies. Now we'll show you the vocabulary, and then I'll proceed. The vocabulary is convey. Convey means communicate, manifest, clear or visible. Introspection means self-analysis. Adversity means misfortune. Enthusiasm means eagerness. Propitiate means appease or mollify or placate. Demonic means devilish or demoniac. Go-betweens, middleman. Distress means extreme anxiety or sorrow. Fulfillment means the meeting of requirement or need. Misery means sorrow. Melancholy means morbidity. So please jot down the vocabulary. It's very, I told you the other day and in my earlier lectures repeatedly that vocabularies are very important for the understanding of, the proper understanding of the story or the autobiography or the essay written by the author or the poet. Thank you very much for being with me. If you have any questions, you will ask me in the comment section, and I will ask you to. I thank you to all for seeing the video, and the next I also invite you to see my next video or digital class for the improvement of the syllabus of class 12. Thank you.